Hi everyone, it's Vicky, aka Cruiserella, and I am back from my Alaska cruise, and today I'm going to share with you what I packed versus what I wore. Spoiler alert, I think I, in most cases, underpacked, except for my feet. Yeah, I wore almost everything I packed. But let's just go through it and we'll talk about it, okay? I'm going to start with a few items that I did not wear, excluding shoes and socks, because those are a different subject. I did not wear my swimsuit. And then this is the little topper cover thing that goes over a swimsuit. I didn't wear that because I didn't wear a swimsuit, so I didn't really have much use for that. Typically on a Caribbean cruise, and this is, I've done a few what I packed versus what I wore, but this was completely different for me because it's a cold cruise, and we haven't taken one of those since 2015, so I don't have any. The other two, I think I've done two other packing videos. They were both Caribbean, so this one's different. All right, so this is kind of my always take. It's my navy blue eyelet dress. Yeah, I prefer it when I can get it ironed. But actually, people just didn't dress up in the dining room for a normal night. So I didn't really find myself needing a dinner dress so much. Jeans were warmer and more comfortable. And in that same logic, here's another one I have, which is just a tart dress. It's a cold shoulder. Yeah, it's a cold shoulder tart dress. Yeah, I think I got this from Trunk Club a long time ago. It packs really well and lays nicely, considering it has spandex and it lays pretty nicely. Next is the raincoat, which I love. I got from Stitch Fix. It is 41 Hawthorne. Really nice, but I did bring it with me on our outing in Skagway, and I was wearing a big pullover where I'll show when I get to that. I was wearing that, and it was just, and my husband was concerned I was going to get wet in the other thing. It felt fine. So then I put this on, and it was just too heavy. So then I took off the pullover, and I had another shirt under it, and tried it with this, but it was still just too heavy and warm because it actually was pretty nice weather when we were in Alaska. All right, so the last item I think I had here that I didn't wear was just this black and white checkered shirt. I took 3 just long sleeve checkered shirts, and they really, except for maybe being on the ship, and even then I preferred to layer them, they weren't that useful. I thought they would be, but they weren't that useful. It's weird because I lived in Alaska for so long. I lived there before I moved to Florida. I lived there 15 years. And the 5 years prior to that, I lived in Seattle, but I worked for an Alaska company, so I traveled the state of Alaska. So believe me, I had all kinds of Alaska wear back in the day. However, this is Southeast Alaska. I traveled what they call the bush. Western Alaska, Northern Alaska, Interior Alaska, where the weather is quite a bit different than down where we were. So I really wasn't sure what to expect, and I will honestly say I did not do a great job of packing, because I'll get into that in just a minute when we get to it. But socks, I did overpack on socks because I have all these socks that came back that didn't go in the laundry. The dirty socks all went in the laundry. These didn't. The ship temperature, people have asked about that, was inconsistent. Like one time it was, very not warm, but it was warm enough in the dining room. But when we came out and went around the corner, people were leaving these doors open out into the outer deck. And so there'd be areas it was really cold or really windy but that was, passengers. And then, of course, going in and out of your balcony, if you were in Glacier Bay, freezing if you did that. All right, so I took 3 pairs of jeans, I think. A black pair, a blue straight cut, not skinny, but straight cut, and then a blue boot cut. I like the boot cuts the best. Anyway, so 3 pairs of jeans. I probably could have skipped some shoes and put in 1 more pair of jeans. Okay, so the most worn item, I think, was this long sleeve shirt. Now, I had collected some long sleeve shirts that weren't too heavy, like this one. This is just like fitness shirt, really. It's got the thumb hole thing, but I used it for layering. I'd collected some of these pieces and completely forgot. I could have taken 5 of these, and they're small and thin, and you just layer them under things. And I think I wore this twice and wore it at night or whatever. And this is just a big, oversized kind of Henley, but a thicker kind of weave, and you can tell it's got a lot of texture. I know I've been picking at my fingernails. And I just got this when I lived in Kodiak. You can see there's a Kodiak thing. So I've had this a long time. And this was really the best thing I brought, I think. And this wore nicely under it. Well, same colors, it was part of it. But it's just nice because it's not this is a Henley, so you have that little bit of, normally you have a little bit of skin, and that kept that warm. Probably the next most item, I think I wore this twice too. When I say twice, I don't mean 2 days. I mean 2 periods, because when you get up in the morning, go get breakfast, and then you might dress differently for your excursion. Then you might dress differently for dinner or for doing something at night, although we didn't do a lot at night. Didn't even go to BB King, which is one of the reasons we choose Holland America. But we did go to Lincoln Center Square several times. But this is just a hoodie, an oversized hoodie, which was very comfortable and a nice weight. It's not too heavy, but it's not light either. Long sleeve. Yeah, I wore this, I think, Skagway, I think. But so those 2 were the best choices I made. Then I also brought another one of the long sleeve cotton shirts. I did wear this one. And this one, I had a sweater that went over it. Let me pull out the sweater. Yeah, you have to excuse the sweater has stains on it because I spilled on it. But I wore this over this, so it was kind of a situation where I could take this off. So that was layering, but that was a little bit heavier layering than the light green type shirt. I brought a cardigan, which I just used either this or the next piece I'll show you. And it's one of my heavier weight cardigans. I have this in both a blue and this oatmeal color, but I decided to take the oatmeal being more neutral. So, yeah. So I had that, and I did use that a couple times, but not a ton of times. The other thing I used instead of a cardigan was the scarf. Like if we were dressed up and I just would put it over my shoulders walking through, and then maybe when we got to the specialty restaurant I took it off. But yeah, it went nice with one of my formal dresses. All right, so the next thing that I definitely wore, this with that green long sleeve shirt, was this camo cotton shirt. And I did wear the camo cotton shirt by itself at one point too. But I mean, just the green cotton shirt, I'm sorry, long sleeve. Yeah, I did wear it by itself, but I wore it with this and then ended up taking this off. Weather, is back and forth. It might be cool in one area and the sun comes out, or you're not in the wind anymore, and then you take it off. So, all right, so I did take a robe, which I wore every day, pretty much. Pajamas, but those are the dirty clothes. Oh, I did take this black jumpsuit, and I did wear it. I think I wore it to the very first night's dinner. And then I think I wore it in the room once when I just wanted something. I think I wore it in the room once. Like instead of pajamas. That was it. My pajamas, those are what's in the wash. Yeah, I wore this instead of the pajamas one time. I should have brought 2 pairs of pajamas. So we were really gone 9 nights. And that's a lot of time spent in the same pair of pajamas. So I ended up making this little jumpsuit pajamas. I brought gloves. And I think I forgot my hat. I did forget my hat. I don't think I forgot it. And I had a little, but I did have a little ear thing, which I can't seem to find now. It's like a headband, but it's knitted and it's really thick. And I wore it. I'll post a picture right now with it on. Okay, so you see what I'm talking about. I cannot locate that. I hope I didn't leave it somewhere. But anyway, and then I had these. I didn't really wear these. I think I might have put them on in Glacier Bay. I was watching the glaciers from our room. I had the bow cam on so I could see what was going on in front of the ship. And then I would go out on the balcony and take pictures and then run back in and get warm and then go back out there. It was cold. I tried to wear these, but in doing that, but I couldn't manipulate the camera, so I didn't really wear those. All right, so I really like this on the ship, actually. Now this I think I wore on a sea day or an evening or something, is for one of my more recent boxes. It was kind of expensive, but it's a lightweight knit top, and it was nice. I was very comfortable in it. I would say I was most comfortable in this and the two green things, the green long sleeve and then the green Kodiak one. Those were my most comfortable. And the difference between this and the one that said Kodiak on it and weight is considerably different. So those were nice. Yeah, definitely long sleeves, I think, was the key. And I think the very first day when we boarded, maybe, I was wearing this. I think I was wearing this when we boarded. But yeah, I didn't wear a lot of it. I wish I'd have brought some leggings. I mean, I have one pair, and I'll tell you that in a minute. But I think that was a mistake. I think I brought 3 pairs of jeans. I probably should have brought 4 jeans and a couple more pairs of leggings to wear with stuff like this around the ship. That's what most people were wearing, I noticed. Maybe the older crowd was wearing jeans. The older crowd, people my age. But there were a lot of leggings. I think they would have been comfortable. Okay, so I'm going to back up because I have a couple outfits that I wore getting to the cruise. So the first night, like I said, we went to Tampa, and of course in Florida I wore shorts and my Mickey Mouse t-shirt. Oh, they smell like French fries. That's weird. And that's because we were in Florida and, you know, spent the night in the hotel, and then we just roamed around the airport that night. It was kind of like our neighborhood, our yard. But it was nice because that meant I had 1 pair of shorts and I had a short sleeve t-shirt in case it got hot in Alaska, because it can do that. I don't know about Southeast, but I know in interior Alaska it sure could. But I didn't use either one of those. And I could have used this for the t-shirt for layering under something if I wanted to as well. So I wasn't disappointed with that. Then the day we flew, I wanted to be comfortable, so I wore a pair of gray leggings. And I wore this top. It's kind of a swing top. I've had it forever. Yeah, I wore these on the plane. I was very comfortable wearing them on the plane. And I wore them on the way there. And I believe I wore them on the way back as well with flip-flops. Yeah. And that I was just comfortable that way. All right, so now the last item as far as clothing, and I'll get to shoes in a minute, are the formal gowns. Yeah. On a 7-night cruise with Holland, you have 2 formal nights. One is usually the first sea day, and the next one is usually either the last night of the cruise or the last sea day of the cruise. So the first sea day, I wore this, and that was the first gala night. I did not wear this one. I haven't worn this one in a long time, so I need to do that one of these days. Yeah, the first gala night, we actually ate in the steakhouse. And we traveled with another couple, and so all 4 of us ate in the steakhouse that night. So we dressed up and went there. So I did see around the ship that there were some people dressed up, but not as many. I can tell you these Alaska cruises are much more casual in their clothing than Caribbean, which I would think a Caribbean is laid back. But I think with Alaska, there were a lot of, multi-generational, you know, kids, parents, grandparents, you know, that kind of thing. And just outdoorsy people and outdoorsy clothes, things like that. So, yeah, not as much dress up. There were some, and there were some in some beautiful evening gowns, but not like on a regular cruise. And I did, a Caribbean cruise. And I didn't see probably as many as there really was, perhaps, because we ate in the specialty restaurant instead of the main dining room. But we did have our photos taken, and we were strolling around, and I just saw, I would say, 10% of the people that I saw were dressed up. Again, if I'd gone in the dining room, I probably would have seen a few more. All right, so the second gala night, I did not wear the dark blue dress. I wore this dress instead, pretty much, and just a nice flowy. I wear this on the second night. It is not a long dress. It is just, it's below the knees, barely, I think. What do they call it, T-length? I don't know. Anyway, I wore this, and yeah, I was probably more dressed up than most of the people in the dining room on that second one, so that's what I wore. All right, so let's get to shoes. Some of them might look dirty because I haven't cleaned them. I just took them out of the suitcase, actually. I wear my slippers all the time. In fact, I kind of wish I'd brought some of my warmer ones. I brought a black pair of dress shoes. I brought a navy pair of dress shoes. I wore the navy pair of dress shoes when I wore this dress because my legs are showing because it's not long. But when I wore the long dress, I decided not to wear the dressy ones. I just felt like I just wore my flip-flops. I call these dressy flip-flops because they're up high and they got a little bit of bling on them. I did wear these a couple days. I found these more comfortable just wearing them around the ship. These are my Bobs by Skechers. I'm glad I didn't wear them in town so much because these are what I wore most of the time. Even on the ship, sometimes I wore these, but definitely on every excursion. I think I just needed that traction. When we were on 2 different boats, with 2 different boats or 3 different boats. Well, I don't remember how many boats we were on, but we were on at least 2 plus the ship we were on. But anyway, yeah, these Skechers were pretty much my everyday. And then last but not least, I said we stayed in the Tampa airport and then flew into Vancouver. So we had 2 hotel nights before we got on the cruise ship. And so I wore these to the Tampa airport, and I ended up wearing these on the airplane too. I was going to wear these, but I didn't. I chose to just be more comfortable in these. So that is what I wore. I could have eliminated some shoes. I certainly could have eliminated socks and underwear and bras. I brought too many of all of those. I just always just grab a handful of underwear and stuff it in. But I probably could have done less with the long sleeve cotton shirts. I packed 3. I wore 2. I was much more comfortable in more of a pullover hoodie, longer kind of thing that, you know, and jeans, or I could have worn leggings with them. So yeah, so I guess that's the advice I have to you is think in terms of leggings, jeans, long hoodie kind of knitted kind of things that come lower, and then something that you can wear like the light green long sleeve that's you know, comfortable, lightweight. You can wear it like say when you're indoors or under something else. That's what I should have gone with. I wasn't too far off, but I did find myself repeating things, and yeah, bring 2 pairs of pajamas for 9 nights though, for sure. Well, thanks so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. As you know, it's free to subscribe. Yeah, this is just a growing channel. This is all I've separated from my original channel, Vicky's Voyages, to do just cruising here. And if you like that sort of thing, I'd love to have you along. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.